video, I would like to show you all the traditional German beef dishes that I could think of. The classical beef dish from Germany is the Beefsteak Tartare, which is usually minced tenderloin that is served with an egg yolk on the top, onions and other ingredients depending on the restaurant. Typically it is also salt, pepper, capers, mustard, also pickles and even Tabasco. In the German restaurants, beef tartare is served with the standard German Mischbrot. I don't know if you remember, I had one tartare in Prague and I need to admit that the toasted bread was even more perfect with it. Oh man, that makes me miss Prague a bit. The food there was so delicious. That's the Frankfurter Rindswurst, which is the most popular sausage in Frankfurt. The sausage was created in 1894 by the company called Graf Wölsing, and it was something new at the time because the sausage consists of 100% beef, and because of the increasing of the Jewish population in Frankfurt was a very smart idea. Now we're gonna move on to the braised beef dishes. The first one that I would love to show you are the Rinderbäckchen, so braised beef cheeks. So those are first fried on the high heat and then they slowly cook in the oven with some vegetables. The standard seasoning would be garlic, allspice, bay leaf, and sometimes even juniper, berries, thyme and rosemary. The sauce had also some wine in it. Next to mention is the standard beef roast. For this I use soup vegetables, which are carrots, celery and parsley, root and leek. And because that one was a festive meal, I also added pork feet as well as bacon for extra flavor, a good amount of beef fond and wine. And after good 3 hours the beef was ready. I really love when dishes turn out like they should. There's also a very specific beef roast, which is called sour roast. This one is popular in many regions in Germany. The one that you can see on the screen we have filmed in Rothenburg ob der Tauber. And what is very particular about this is that the meat is marinated for several days in a marinade made from wine or vinegar, water, salt, pepper, onions, parsley root, juniper berries, allspice, bay leaf and cloves. As the name suggests, the sour roast is a bit sour. Therefore, for example, in Franconia or Saxony, they add gingerbread to the sauce. For example, in Cologne, they do like adding raisins. And some also like serving it with an applesauce. One of the most staple dishes from beef is for sure the beef goulash. In Western Germany, the goulash is pretty simple. It is made of beef, onion, beef fond, red wine, tomato puree and paprika powder. The goulash would be usually served with any kind of dumplings and noodles. Another typical braised dish is for sure the beef roll, so the Rinderroulade. The German beef roll is filled with many goodies. Bacon, pickled cucumber, mustard, onion, salt and pepper are the most classical ones. In Western Germany, the sauce is made of soup vegetables, onions, tomato puree, wine, beef fond, salt, pepper, sugar and a good amount of butter. There are not many German dishes that beat this one. And now we're gonna move on to the boiled beef dishes. The first piece of meat that we like boiling, it's called beef topside, Tafelspitz. Tafelspitz has a pretty thick amount of fat. It's for sure one of the most underrated pieces of beef. Franconia, they love serving it with a thick but incredible horseradish sauce and German egg noodles. The base of the sauce is roux that is then mixed with beef fond, horseradish and also who likes it cream. And the whole thing is served traditionally with a lingonberry jam. Also in very similar way, the brisket can be prepared. The one that you can see on the screen we have eaten in Schwarzwald and then prepared it at home. The brisket is simply cooked, served with bouillon kartoffeln, which are potatoes cooked in water with some vegetables, and those are served with a horseradish sauce and the lingonberry jam. The next dish I would like to show you, it's called Labskaus and it also contains beef. For this dish, the corned beef is actually used. So for this, the cured meat would be cooked, put through the meat grinder with some pickled red beetroot as well as cucumber and herring or other fish. At last, this is mixed with mashed potatoes and served with fried egg, raw onion, herring, roll mops and more beetroot. Such an interesting mashed potatoes you have never eaten in your whole life. Another dish that I'm gonna mention is the Rindersolber, and this one I found in Frankfurt. When we are talking about Solber, we are talking about the meat that is cured and therefore extremely soft and tasty. The curing takes around 10 to 18 days and then the meat is cooked and eaten with a sauerkraut and a bit of horseradish. It's for sure one of my favorite ways of eating beef. There are also some German soups that are traditionally prepared with beef. One of those would be for sure the green bean soup. The green bean soup is very simple. It is made of beef, water, soup, vegetables and green beans that are added a bit later. If you are using frozen vegetables, it really takes only 15 minutes of active time to make this soup. For me, the taste of the beef broth is exceptional. Some vegetables with it and I don't need anything more. And now we're gonna move on to steaks. There are plenty of traditional ways how the Germans actually eat steak. I could actually film the whole video about this topic. But in this one, I'm gonna show you a steak that we have prepared for our cooking with a mustard video. This one is called Düsseldorfer Senfrostbraten. The steaks are then covered with a crust that is made of onions, breadcrumbs, salt, pepper and paprika powder. And then the whole thing is grilled very quickly in the oven, so the crust gets crispy. That was for sure one of the best things that we have cooked this year. The steaks were then served with a mustard sauce. Deliciousness. There are so many nice German dishes with mustard. For more inspiration, there's gonna be a link to a video down below for you. And one of the quickest dishes to prepare with a beef is for sure the Rindergeschnetzeltes. The best meat to use for this dish is tenderloin, sirloin or rump steak. You cut into smaller pieces and then fry with oil and butter. And as soon as the meat is done, you can set it aside. Fry in the same pan some mushrooms and onions separately. We are always using bigger chunks of mushrooms because when frying they don't lose this much liquid, therefore they are never dry. You can now also add some wine and of course cream to the dish and let it simmer for a few minutes. Then you can add the meat, warm it up a bit and voila, your quick dinner is ready. Rindergeschnetzeltes goes very well with homemade spätzle. And also the pan-fried version of either veal or beef liver. It's called Leberle and can be eaten in Schwarzwald. So I have tried there a dish that is called saure Leberle. For this dish, the liver is cut into smaller pieces and then fried with some onions, wine and some spices like for example bay leaf. To the whole thing you can also add cream and then finally season it with some vinegar and sugar. The whole thing goes perfectly with pan-fried potatoes. Beef is also very often used in the meat fondue because it's actually very nice and soft after being fried. And there you go, look at how crispy it looks like. How can you say no to this? The meat is then served with many different sauces. As far as I remember, I prepared a garlic and a cocktail one. But if you want to see exactly what we did, I'm gonna link this video in the description box down for you. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite beef dish. And if I showed you something that you would like to try either in Germany or at home. So anyway, I wish you a lovely week, stay safe and healthy, and I see you on my next one. Bye!